key to this, which when Jeb called me, what's the key to what you're talking about here? And what are you training on? It's called duplication. I want to give you what we've been working on. And I'm going to tell you the chapters because I have a complete underground training that I'm doing. And I can promise you each of these individuals is a beast. But here's the thing, I know about each one of you. So are you. That's why I'm sharing it with you. That's why it's, write this down. It's easier to run with 3 than to drag 1,000. I said, I'm cutting off all the fat, all the meat. I'm going straight to the T-bone. That's all I want is the bone marrow. I don't want to talk to nobody else. If somebody wants to learn from myself or any of the people that I've trained, they better earn the right and beg to get in or go somewhere else. I want them to, I encourage them to. Because if we see greatness in you and you choose to squander the time when we can be doing so many other things, and you're making false promises, I can only imagine the lies you tell your children if you have 1 or 10. And that's not necessarily always your fault, but you need to learn how to live in truth and be honest. What are you doing with your life? So I want to give you these things as far as what we grade on. There's 4 chapters. I'm not going to tell you the whole book in which I'm training my team on. In my squad, I got a hit squad. I got a true sniper squad. Number 1, we train on what we're looking at is the framework of a conversation. Number 2, what we test on is the enthusiasm of your conversation. Number 3, what we test on is the content of your conversation. Number 4, what we test on is the time it takes for you to do it. Less is best. Number 5, what we talk about is reading your audience. And number 6, what we test on is the flow, which one of my students corrected me and changed my conversation, and I love her for it. In that, chapter 1 is mastering the enrollment conversation. The enrollment conversation, I'll just tell you 4 chapters just so you can know, I know what I'm talking about. This isn't off the cusp because we've been in the trenches. I mean, like deep. And in that, what you're looking at is an enrollment conversation. Number 2 is knowing how to work a list. Number 3 is knowing how to overcome objections. Number 4 is knowing how to close. And all of these are linked to tentacles of making money, leverage with a machine that allows you to build a massive residual income. And unless you have a teacher who's taking you step by step through all of these formats, you're going to come up short. So I want to bring on the first one so that you understand what a presentation or what I call the enrollment, because if you master the enrollment conversation, that's 90% of this business. See, here, let me give you this last note so you have the foundation of understanding the system. We hear about systems all the time. Here's the system. Number 1 is to peak. P-I-Q-U-E. You got to know how to peak. But all of you know how to do that. 90% of people get stopped with what to say after that. And you're relying on Al Thomas or Jocelyn or Renata or somebody to do your conversation for you. Until you take ownership of your conversation and your presentation, you will always be broke in any opportunity that you're in. And you need somebody to take the time to show you, and then you need to put in the work to do it. So we're talking about truly understanding how to peak. I'm giving you the flow real quick so I can get to my people. Peak, master the conversation, know how to do a presentation, know how to get into registration, and then know how to get them to training. That's the system. It's a real simple thing. Peak, conversation, which is the enrollment. And when you understand enrollment, before a person goes to college, what do? They have to enroll. Before they go to a private school and you got your child going to a really elite school, what do? They got to enroll. Before you actually get in here and you actually register, what had to happen? Someone had to enroll you. If you master the enrollment conversation, that is the difference of you making 0 this month and a 5-figure check, is you knowing how to do an enrollment conversation. Now, how much time have you put in on your craft? Because I just showed you what they did with 15,000 people. How many times did they practice that? I just showed you Venus and Serena. How many times they're practicing in the rain at 6 years old? How much work are you putting in on this craft? Well, let's get to it. The first one who I want you to hear is Tammy. And she's like night and day on doing this presentation. So Tammy Williams up there, Jeffrey, could you make sure she can unmute? I want you to hear an enrollment conversation and what it looks like. Can you find her, Jeb? She's still muted. Tammy Williams, upper right corner.
She's unmuted. She's a co-host.
Okay, go ahead, Tammy. Unmute yourself.
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Okay. Good morning, Janika. How are you this morning?
She's muted too. That's okay. So I'm gonna send Jeff everybody. You can use me for right now, Tammy.
Okay, thank you. Hello, Mr. Nelson. How are you this morning?
Amazing. How are you?
Amazing too. Two amazing people on the call. Whew, we're gonna have some fun. So listen, in respect of your time, Janika told me that you only have 5 minutes. I only have 3, so this will be a very short call. She told me so many great things about you. I decided to put you at the top of my actual calls that I have scheduled for today. 3 more after our call. She told me that you have an insatiable appetite to help people all over the world. You're raising a child, you're helping your mother, and on top of that, you're working 70 hours a week, and you still find time to do volunteer work in your community. Now, did you pay her to tell you all those things about me, about you?
No.
Okay, great. Well, you might want to. Let's just get into this. I really only have 3 minutes, and I'm looking for 3 people in the next 24 hours. I already have 2. And based on what you told me about you, I know that you're the 3rd person. What I'm looking for is someone that has a strong work ethic, someone wants to change their life today and leave a legacy for their children. Now, she mentioned that you have a goal of firing your boss in the next 3 to 5 years. Is that correct?
Yes.
Excellent. I'll share a story with you about a family, a husband and wife that did the same thing as you. They were told to get a good job, not be job hoppers, that they would actually work their way up to the corporate ladder. And so 14 years, the wife spent at one company, the husband spent 25 years in the same company. The 25-year service, they had the birth of their 3rd child, which was a gift. And the husband actually came home also in that 25 year of service with a gift. It was a pink slip, letting him know that he was going to be a part of a massive layoff. Now, look, the couple considered this a gift because it opened up their eyes, showing them that how they were earning income linear, training their time, a combined 50 hours building someone else's dream was not going to be sustainable anymore for a family of 5. Do you know the impact of losing a 6-figure income for a family of 5? Just imagine that. They didn't live there, but just imagine.
Wow.
Yes. So fast forward to 5 years, this woman went to a women's empowerment event full of all women in the place. Beautiful place. The guest speaker that came on stage was a man, and he shared his wisdom on business strategies, how to leverage, how to earn a residual income doing something once. He asked that wife, if I could show you how you could make the 6-figure income that you lost, no guarantees, working on the residual income that we have to share and earning that on a monthly basis, would I have your attention?
100%.
He had her attention. The woman in the story is me.
Oh, wow.
Now, the team that I'm building, mammoth in proportion, has a global reach. I can tell you so many things about this gentleman. He not only has helped individuals become 6-7-figure income earners, he retired his parents in his 30s, but the family that he told me about, invited me to, is about supporting each other. They're sharing their knowledge and their strategies. We pray together. We help each other with our health and wellness and teach financial literacy strategy that I wish I would have been to this school, and I'm calling it a school. It's a life school. And I went to college, and for no reason, I don't understand. I learned more in this space. So listen, what you're being invited to, Mr. Nelson, is not a business. It's a family. I'm sure you can agree. Anything you have done has been great, but I'm sure you know that only teams win championships, and that's what you're being invited to. Now, do I have your attention?
100%.
What I need you to do is get back to Janika within the next 24 hours. Let her know that you're the 3rd person, so I can explain to you in about 20 minutes how we can turn your goals and dreams into reality. I look forward to our next call.
I am truly looking forward to it. Thank you.
Excellent. Have a great day.
It's amazing. So then, once you know how to do an enrollment conversation, what is the key to this, as Jeffrey was asking me, is duplication. And duplication comes down to not how well can you do it. Some of you are extraordinary at your conversations. Some of you can probably go out and peak and close 10 or 20 people. But what are you missing? If you only own 1 McDonald's, you're going to go broke. But if you own 20 and you're on the beach, that makes you wealthy. If you can go out there and sponsor 20 people and 30 people, they're going to die on you. Unless you can teach 2 or 3 people how to do what you do that exponentially grows, that's what makes you wealthy. That's what gets you to SVP. That's what takes your money to the next level. So I want you to understand the yin and the yang. The yin was the enrollment conversation. The yang is, can you teach the enrollment conversation? And for that, I want to bring on a star who's just amazing. And she truly is the anchor to I call her the captain of the team right now, but there's some people that are fighting her for that position. Miss Alicia Grant, could you come on and please teach the enrollment conversation?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that introduction. Okay, family, we're going to hop right in the water. I've got something amazing for you today. So I hope you got a pen and a paper, because if you get this one piece, this is the foundation for which you could build the rest of your building in this business, in life, really, just with the value of this conversation. And that's the enrollment conversation. So I'm about to give you the recipe. It's in 4 parts. So the first part is the CTA. That's your call to action. Now, this specific step is broken into 2 parts. The first one is the intro. So obviously you're going to welcome them to the call. You're going to pay them a compliment, and you're going to be able to gauge who the prospect is that you're speaking to. So it could look something like this. Hey, Tammy, thank you so much for taking this call. I've heard so many amazing things about you. I heard about your incredible work ethic, that you're an amazing mother, that you have big dreams and goals about leaving legacy. Is all of this true? And based on how she responds to that statement, you're going to realize if this is the person who wants to get right to the point, or if this is somebody who you can engage with a little more and have further conversation. So a shark is going to give you a short 1-word answer. Same thing with the urchin. And then your dolphin and whales, they're going to laugh along with you, and you'll know the tone of your conversation. Now, the second part of this call to action is your demand. You're going to state exactly what it is that you're looking for and why they're on the call. You don't want people just sitting here thinking we're just meeting for lunch. We have a point. There's a purpose here. And so you tell them exactly what you're looking for. So this is where you would say, listen, we're launching we're working on a project. We're looking for 3 individuals. We already have 2. We're looking to close this out in the next 24 to 48 hours and fill this position. But what I've heard about you, it sounds like you do fit the bill. By the end of this 2-minute conversation, we'll know if we're speaking the same language, and we could take things to the next level. So at this point, you've welcomed them, you've paid them a compliment, you know who it is that you're talking to, and then you've stated exactly what the purpose of the call is. So now we can transition into step number 2. This is the story. Always remember that stories sell, facts tell. And so what you want to do in sharing your story, you're going to touch on 3 points: who you are, what you do, and why you do it. Now, this is not a time to have a therapy session or to let them know all of your entire life story. You're really pulling out the parts of your story that you know will relate to your prospect. So we can all relate to a time in our lives where we were overworked, underpaid, underappreciated, and just looking for something else, looking for something more in order to create the lifestyle that we all envision. And so you're going to want to pay attention and pull out those parts of your story. So for me, you know, I went to school, I got a degree, I climbed the corporate ladder, and what I found at the top is my responsibilities went through the roof, but my paycheck wasn't adding up. And my family was getting whatever was left of me at the end of the day after I'd given all my best energy to my workplace. So at this point, I was tired, I was overworked, and I was underpaid. Can you relate? So that is my story in a quick little nutshell, only the parts that are going to catch the listening of whoever it is that I'm speaking to. Always remember, your prospect is thinking, what's in it for me? So sharing your entire life story doesn't tell them what is in the value package that we have here for them. Always give them what they need to understand that this is the value and this is what it is that they are looking for. Okay? After you've done that, oh, sorry, one last piece. Let me not forget this, because this is crucial. You also want to include in your story how you were introduced to this information. So you heard Tammy say that she went to a women's empowerment event. For me, I went to a networking event and I met somebody, Mr. Byron, who shared with me how residual income works and taught me about financial literacy. And then I was introduced to a family. So you want to add that piece into your story so they understand how you came upon this opportunity in the first place. Now we'll move on to step number 3, and that's the how. So we're telling them that we can create all this extra income or whatever it is for them, but they're going to want to know how. There's no gotchas here. We want them to know straight up front what it is that we do. However, there's certain buzzwords that people have a preconceived notion or a certain interpretation about. So right away, if you say network marketing, and somebody has had a bad experience or something like that, they can't hear you anymore. They're automatically turned off. But they don't understand that we have a different system here. The way we do things, the culture and everything around that is different. So we want them to be able to hear us. So instead of mentioning network marketing and all of this, we'll just tell them exactly what we do. We broker services. We're able to help people save on services that they're already paying for. Something very general, but that explains exactly what we do. That way there's no gotchas here, but we do want to explain to them that we are dealing with services. And we're leveraging a system that is already built for success. That is the most important part, because it doesn't matter if it's network marketing, if it's cooking, it doesn't matter what it is. It's a system that's built for success and proven success. And you can highlight that here. Then we can move on to step number 4. Now you're also closing the same way that you opened, with a call to action. And now, but in this call to action, you first want to check in and see if you've got their attention. So you can ask a simple question like, at this point in the conversation, do I have your full attention? If they say yes to you, well, then you know we can move to the next step. You're going to want to instruct them and let them know, get back with, let's say it was Tammy who invited you to the call. Get back with Tammy. It's only going to cost you 30 minutes of time, but I need you to understand how we get paid here. I need you to see the marketing plan to understand where it is that we're going and the engine that's going to fuel and create the resources you need to build your dreams, what it is that you're working towards. So you're going to want to put some urgency on that. Because if we say, just book a 30-minute appointment, well, then they'll say, I'll get back to you in 2 weeks. You're going to say, over the next 24 to 48 hours, I need you to get back and see this marketing plan so we can move forward. And then at that point, I would love to have an additional conversation with you to put together a game plan once you have the entire picture. So, and then, of course, you're going to want to close with the thank you for your time. We always appreciate people and their time. They could have been doing anything in the world, but they came to hear and see what it is that we have for them. So I'm just going to run through those 4 points one more time very quickly. First one is your call to action. Second is your story. Third is the how. And 4, you're closing with a call to action. So if you get those 4 points and you master this recipe, all it takes is practice. You're going to add an extra comma to your bank account and build the rest of your business on this strong foundation. Thank you so much. I'll turn it back to you, Mr. Byron Nelson.
So I just want to understand how I do this presentation. So Janika, could you tell me how to do this presentation again? Because I want to make sure that you took notes from what she said and you duplicated what she said. Janika, can you come on, please?
Absolutely. Is Tammy unmuted?
She is. She can be. Tammy, unmute.
Yes,
Awesome. Hi, Tammy. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you. Yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. Tammy, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. I've heard nothing but amazing things about you from Stephanie. Stephanie told me that you have amazing work ethic. She said you're spiritually grounded. You've been helping a lot of women in the real estate space. You're taking care of your family, and you still have the time to make lunch for your husband. Did she lie about any of this?
No.
Awesome. Look, Tammy, the reason why we're having this conversation today is that I'm looking for 3 finishers. I already have 2. And based on what Stephanie told me about you, I already know that you're the 3rd. Look, I'm going to be real with you, sister to sister, Tammy. It really wasn't that long ago that I was jumping out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning and running to a plantation where I was overworked, I was underpaid, and I was just not valued. And so it wasn't until I started reading our Constitution every day, and our Constitution being the Bible, that I truly understand who I was. I am the seed of Abraham. And if Abraham's seed is blessed, then that means that I am blessed. I'm above and not beneath. I'm the head and not the tail. I am chosen by God. And so, Tammy, once I realized this, I just started rewriting the narrative to me working on my legacy as opposed to working on another company's legacy. Does this resonate with you, Tammy?
Absolutely. Amen.
Awesome. So, Tammy, the invitation is to a family. I'm inviting you to a family. We pray together, we empower each other, and we grow mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially together. So, Tammy, based on what Stephanie said, I already know that you're going to fit right in with this family. So as I mentioned to you, I have one spot to fill within the next 24 hours, and I still have a couple of calls to make. So what I want you to do, I need you to call Tammy, I need you to call Stephanie and tell Stephanie that you are number 3 and you would like a call within the next 24 hours so that I can show you the how-to. Tammy, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure. Have yourself an amazing Friday.
Thank you. You too.
Which is kind of
you.
ridiculous because I still need to understand how that was done, because I can record this, but you don't understand the flow. I don't understand the flow. So Stephanie, could you teach me exactly what I just heard? Because I want to know how to do that, so I never have to rely on Mr. Al Thomas to do another three-way call for me ever. Could you do that? I want to build my own dynasty.
Absolutely, absolutely. So listen, we've been going over the enrollment conversation. You guys have heard what it sounds like, but the reason we keep going over it is because this key in particular will take your business to the next level. Already on this call, Mr. Nelson stated very plainly that once you take responsibility and accountability for your own conversation, that's when your business can take off. Outside of that, you have to wait for your upline to talk to your team. You have to wait for your upline to talk to your team's prospects as well as your own prospects. So we're going to go over the enrollment conversation, the 4 steps that Ms. Alicia Grant just shared with us. And if you didn't get them the first time, you're going to want to get them this time. So right off the bat, you're going to say hello to the prospect, and you want to get right into the meat of the conversation. So there's going to be a call to action. And you're going to start off by complimenting them. Now, you're going to start off by saying something that you already know to be true about them. Make sure that you're genuine, because people can tell when you're not being genuine. So you compliment them. And based on their response to your compliment, you can tell, does this person want me to get right to the information, or are they a whale or a dolphin and they're going to laugh at my jokes? So you can kind of feel them out in the first couple seconds, but make sure that you compliment to build some rapport. Right after that, let them know what you're on the conversation for. Now, this is called the call to action, because you're placing the demand on the conversation, and you let them know, I'm looking for 3 individuals. I have 2 so far. And what that's going to do is let them know that, hey, they're actually filling these positions. They're filling these spots. People want to be working with them and in partnership with them. And you let that be known right at the beginning of the conversation. And you can even say something like 24 hours, 48 hours, in the next 3 days. You let them know how long these positions are going to be open for. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is who. So this is your story. And this might be the very first conversation that they're having with you. So you want to let them know where you are right now. You're also going to share with them where you've been and where you're going. So just to break that down for my own story, I could say something like, right now, I am working with an amazing organization, but where I was when this information came to me was that I was overworked, I was overextended, and I was stressed and tired. But then I was able to connect with an amazing family who showed me step number 3, which is how. Now, at this point, you're going to simply share with them what it is that we do. We help people save money on bills that they're already paying, or make money off of bills that they're paying. And at this point in time, you can simply share with them what is going to resonate with them. So you already know if you're talking to a shark. And if you're talking to a shark, you can mention the fact that over the past 5 years, I should say, we've grossed in excess of $4 billion. So you bring out the pieces that are really going to resonate with this person. And then finally, another call to action at the end, just in case they forgot why you guys are on the conversation, you remind them, hey, I need you to get back with this partner, and let them know that you're either the 3rd person we're looking for, or if it's not the right time for you, then we just ask you to support what it is that they're working on. And you can even throw in some reverse edification of your partner so that they know that you, as the expert, respect the partner. And if they choose to work with that individual, they are in good hands. So those are the 4 steps of the enrollment conversation. A call to action right at the beginning. Number 2 is who you are. You introduce yourself and your story. Number 3, how. How is it that you came into contact with this information, and how is it changing your life? And then finally, number 4, you're going to place another call to action into the conversation so that they know it's not in 25 days that we want to hear from them. If they are the person that we're looking for, they're going to let us know within the next 24 hours. So that is the enrollment conversation.
Considering I started at about 9:06, 9:07, I'm gonna use the last 3 minutes. I want you to hear some testosterone so you don't think it's just all estrogen on here. Even though this is a women's beast crew, I do have a few men in the crew. So we just are running out of time, but I want you to hear Edmund to close out. So maybe you can actually put together how we do it with we're actually doing it. Because I can tell you in closing this out before I turn it back over to Ms. Alda Thomas, this small crew, this sniper crew, all has on an average of 3 to 4 people already going into the system as of this week. We're at the 6. We're putting 100 IBOs qualified in the system with this system. It's being documented. It will be the most ridiculous crew you've ever seen. But then you got to ask yourself, how much are you working on your craft every day? Because this is 2 to 3 hours in between and around lunch, single parenting, a brand new birth of a child, taking care of a mother that's sick, being able to juggle a family, listening to noise in the back, trying to find a quiet place where Stephanie is. All this, every excuse you have, we're in this. Like you have no freaking idea, like the passion of Christ. So I'm gonna let Edmund come on so y'all can know that it's not just all women here, just to have a little taste of a little testosterone. Edmund, could you come on and just share with me and teach me how to do, could you do an enrollment conversation? I wanna get in the business.
Most certainly. Ms. Janika, can you unmute yourself, please?
Absolutely.
Well, beautiful morning, Ms. Janika. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
Fantastic is right. My goodness. Miss Stephanie Kerr told me so much about you. So correct me if I'm wrong, but to my understanding, you are a woman of God with a deep understanding of who you are as a child of Christ. You have a phenomenal character. Your integrity is second to none, and your work ethic is inspiring. Now, did she lie about that at all?
Sounds like I need to put her on payroll.
I gotta say, you got yourself an agent. Well, wonderful. Well, I only have a couple minutes to get your full attention, but I am so excited to speak with you, which is why I brought you into the front of the line of everyone I have to speak with today. So, Ms. Janika, based on what I've been told about you, you are the last leader we're looking for to fill in this position within the next 24 hours for this megalith of a legacy project with our global family of champion entrepreneurs. Now, given that this conversation, which is simply an invitation, grabs your attention, we can take this discussion to a higher level. Now, are you with me so far?
Absolutely.
Excellent, excellent. So allow me to share with you a very simple story. Now, imagine with me, once upon a time, it is late at night, and we see a young man driving home from a 14-hour day on a film set in Los Angeles. Now, that's not unusual for that kind of work hours. But what is unusual and what's wonderful is this young man had a check in his hand. And it doesn't matter how tired he was, he gonna deposit that check. It was really nice. So on the way home, he slid in that check into the ATM, healthy balance, and the month is just getting started. So it is exciting. Darn near skips into his car. But before he has a chance to even turn on the ignition, that smile got slapped off his face because he had a really strong revelation he could no longer deny. And here's what it was. See that check? One time. So if he's gonna wanna make another one, he's gonna put in another 14 plus hours again and again and again and again. And so long as somebody not him has control of his time and money, it's going to be inevitable where he's gonna have to choose between either put his time in for a check or be there for who and what matters most, especially if it's a family emergency. Now that young man was me. And I don't know about you, but if I'm gonna have to choose between being there for who what matters most to me or be there for some people who just care about what I can do for them as opposed to who I am, I'm going with family. Can you relate?
Absolutely, 100%.
Excellent, I'm talking to the right person. See, I made a decision to be among the 3 percentile of money earners in the world because the 3%, they found a way to have both time and money together. Now, upon that, I made a conversation with a family friend of mine who was among the 1 percenters. And he introduced me to a family who had no benefit, but still supported me to have both time and money because they knew my situation. Now, Miss Janika, wouldn't you love to have both time and money and in abundance at that?
Like yesterday.
Amen, amen. So I have 2 words for you. It's called residual income. Have you ever experienced residual income?
Not at all.
Oh my, okay, so you're gonna love this because this is your freedom ticket. See, residual income changes the game in your favor. See, this is where you don't have to go looking for money, but money comes looking for you, no matter where you need to be or where you desire to be. So not only in this family do we teach you how to earn residual income, but to keep it and to multiply it. And imagine what that'll do for your family, not just in this lifetime, but the next generation and the generation after that, because we're about legacies. So Miss Janika, do I have your full attention thus far?
100%.
Phenomenal. So it's gonna get even better. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to do me a really big favor. As soon as we hang up, and no longer than 24 hours, get back to Miss Stephanie, who brought us together, and let her know you are the one we're looking for. Because I'm gonna need her to send you some information so you understand how we get paid. So we can set an appointment no longer than 40 minutes. So I can show you not only how this works, but that this works. Because working with me, within 30 days, we're gonna put a really nice deposit in your bank account. But this one, it's gonna happen over and over and over again, and you only have to work once. Can you do that for me?
Absolutely.
Phenomenal. You are making my day so far. I am glad you were the first person I spoke to this morning. So you have a phenomenal, phenomenal Friday. We will be in touch, okay?
Thank you. You as well.
Okay.
Now, if you actually took note to exactly, is it duplicating? I'm not showcasing one person that went out there and went RD. I'm showing you 100 people that are going RBP in under a year. In a system in which I don't have to worry about, well, what do I say? Well, where do I take them next? Well, do I get the list from them? How do I work the list? How do I get, if you bring in 3 people on your team that just say, I'm interested, you should never have to sponsor another person for the next year because you owned your business. This is not a conversation to train in front of a stage or for thousands of people. I only elected to do it because of Mr. Al Thomas and your guys' commitment to getting on this call every week. But let me just ask you this last question before I turn it over to Mr. Al Thomas. Do you go buy a franchise called the Cheesecake Factory and only open it up once a week? That's not how you learn how to do anything. What you're seeing is night and day from the time I started working with them. And if you know any of them, you know that personality, that enthusiasm, that content and everything, and anybody can do it. Everybody was invited. Nobody usually shows up until somebody, and they're the somebodies that I'm so proud of this morning, have shown up. Every day they show up. And that's why they're all putting in a minimum of 25 IBOs this month. They're all having, it's the 100 club, 100 points, 100 IBOs, period. Not a year from now, not 2 years from now, not stuck at ETL, not stuck at RD. You will see them all in under 90 days walking as RD. You will see them in under a year all walking as an RVP. And I'm just getting started. Mr. Al Thomas, that's your Friday training. I love you. The board is all yours.